Coming to you live from my apartment, it's Rob Has a Podcast. And now, here's the guy who is the 1997 Hyman Trophy winner. I am Rob Cesternino. Hello, everybody, and welcome. That's so not true. I am Rob Cesternino here with the semi-annual recap of the recap tonight, and I'm very excited to have you guys on board after a scintillating episode of Big Brother tonight. And I was very excited to have a panel here with us tonight, but it looks like it is just going to be Taran Armstrong and I breaking it all down. Taran, how are you?
I think I'm about as nervous as Paul was when Derrick walked into the house because this episode was just ridiculously terrible.
Oh, wait, hold on. It's the podcast doorbell. Who's this?
Wait, what?
I wasn't expecting anybody. Oh, wait, who could this be?
I don't know. Could it be bad?
Eric Stein. Eric, how are you?
I'm so mad at Matt Hoffman right now. I'm going to call him on vacation and talk to him about this. This guy goes on vacation. You guys then go through your Rolodex. Who's another short, cantankerous old man that we can bring on to recap the recap? And as a result, I have to spend my Friday night watching this garbage. Unbelievable, guys.
Why? What did you have planned instead? Were you eating 10 bowls of cereal tonight?
Yeah. Well, otherwise I would have watched it and not talked about it afterwards. So actually, I should be thanking you.
Wow. After this season, this night of television, I just may be sheet caking my way through this podcast tonight. That's how distraught I am about everything we got to witness tonight, Taran.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess Matt Hoffman is he's got this master plan in place to he's hoping that Eric does really well here, so he'll never have to watch one of these episodes ever again.
Yeah.
First, he tried to take my all-star spot, and now this. You know?
Yeah, you could have used the diamond power of veto to get out of it. But
wait,
no.
Was Kathy unavailable?
All right, so here's what we're doing tonight. Hashtag RHAP. We'll take your questions about everything that we saw. We'll even get into some of the leaked live feed spoilers later on in the show and talk about maybe how it could potentially be or what we know at this hour, certainly. Also, if you missed it this morning, Taran Armstrong did a deep dive into the psychology of cults with John Graham. Not a joke, Eric Stein.
Yes, and dictatorships. I thought it was very interesting podcast.
Yeah, so check that out. I'm halfway through it. And of course, a lot to talk about tonight on an episode where we got to see a little bit of fallout from last night's double eviction. We had the person who might have gotten the most airtime of the night, Jess Graff, was really, everybody in the house were like, ha, Jess and Cody, you're out of the show. It's like, well, they're still getting more screen time than most of you people that are still in the house. So if you missed our podcast with Jessica, that's up on the website at this moment. All right, Eric Stein, we last talked to you, 2 weeks ago in New York. What have you been up to since then?
There's been so much since that time. You wouldn't believe it.
Actually, I'm sorry. Let me re-ask the question. Eric, remember that time that we were in New York? The city that never sleeps. That was a good time.
Oh, yes. There I was. It was me and Taran and you, Alex Kidwell and Johnny Mack. Those were the days. Let's roll the clip, Rob.
Remember the potions that were Gatorade? Oh, man.
Yeah. From what I hear, Eric, you were in New York a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah. I mean, guys, I was expecting this to be a good, bad episode. I thought we were going to have fun with this. I wasn't expecting a bad episode. There was no fair, not even Hootie and the Blowfish, as you guys had speculated. No Shaggy, nobody.
Yeah.
I mean, this is no Paulie's Pies.
Yes, this was a downgrade from Ziggy Marley last season. It certainly was. Like last year, it was like they sort of like dressed this up. It was like a carnival. This was a weird concept where, okay, let's get Derrick. And we were all speculating, okay, well, why bring Derrick in? Is there going to be some sort of like strategy talk with somebody? And it was weird. They brought in Derrick to reminisce about things that Derrick wasn't there for.
Yeah. Makes perfect sense.
In the realm of possibility that Davon was busy filming another game show, so she couldn't make it. There was a last-minute swap in.
Just get one of the best players, strategic players who've played the game, who, you know, everybody loves for being extremely not boring, to come in and host a very not boring episode of the show.
Yeah, he's known for his comedy, right? Exactly.
Improv, yeah. So you had Derrick coming in, but first, I guess let's just touch on the moment of actual drama that was part of the things we haven't seen before. Taran, we got to see it was a rough night for Mark following after Whistle not really outed him during the double eviction, that you know, he really had his head on the guillotine for Paul to come in and just bash with a sledgehammer like a watermelon at a Gallagher concert.
Wow, you're really painting a picture there. Yeah, I mean, you know, Paul is doing what Paul does best. He's really going at Mark there, and Mark just, he clearly doesn't even have the heart for it. He's still like crying on the inside because Elena just left, and he's just like, oh God, just whatever, Paul. Like, fine, you're right. I'm untrustworthy. Just
now, Derrick, correct me if I'm wrong. Now, Paul already knew this information, right? Is it, or was this news to Paul?
He knew. I don't know.
Basically, Paul is like doing like the Derrick clip show version of, oh, Mark, what is this? So I hear that you are out there saying things about me. What is it that you said, Mark? Like,
yeah,
are we going to the clip? Are we showing the clip? Oh no, we're doing okay.
He was waiting for the clip to play. That's why he kept being like, wait, come on. Like, oh, how could you do this?
Yeah. How could you have tried to throw me under the bus? And Mark just wasn't having it, Eric.
It was extreme.
Extreme bus throwing under. But it was amazing because, I mean, Eric, what goes on in this house where, and Mark is just like eating cereal. We saw a montage of, we'll talk about Matt eating cereal. Paul was eating cereal. What is why do they only eat cereal in this house?
And the cereal is like one of the main things that gets infested with the ants also. So that's really making me wonder what's going on in Matt's stomach.
Cereal is legitimately the most important part of the entire season. I mean, like, yeah, between the cereal gate, all the people eating cereal, they're all just constantly eating cereal.
If the prize at the end of this show was 500,000 boxes of cereal, you would see radically different gameplay this season. People would be cutting Paul left and right.
Matt would finally start playing. Like, screw jury, it's cereal.
Like, it probably actually also makes them angry inside the house, because like it's one of those weird things also where like people get pissy about like the stupidest things, like doing the dishes and this and that or whatever. So like if he eats all the boxes of cereal, like I could see someone citing that as the actual reason that they evict him ultimately.
All right, so we got to see a little bit of that with Mark. Then Derrick comes in, and we, you know, start the montage. Remember this, remember that, and really the first thing that we spent so much time on Jess and Cody and their relationship, and then it's weird, Eric, when they do these things, because I thought they did this in the past. They always highlight the showmances, except for Matt and Raven, and they showed more about Matt's showmance with cereal than his showmance with Raven. But they show the showmances, and then they show like the fights from the showmances, and it makes me think that maybe Cody and Jessica and Mark and Elena, I don't think that these relationships are going to work out in the house, Eric.
Yeah, it's the most bizarre presentation. The showmances are so important to them, and then they spend the entire show like tearing them down, making especially the guys look like, I mean, poor Mark really took a beating in this episode. I mean, they found every instance where Elena could not have been more nonplussed by his romantic overtures. I mean, and these are so out of context. You know, like it could have been 98 degrees in the house or whatever, but they make it look like.
Wait, the band or the temperature?
Well, they're probably coming to the carnival soon, actually. I think it's a legitimate possibility. But I mean, I think you hit on where are Matt and Raven? I mean, Taran's the only one who can really tell us this. Are they actually even in a showmance? How could you have a showmance? I know I said this back in New York. That's so bad that they don't even get a clip in a showman's fueled clip show.
Well, I almost flinched for a second because there was one point where Derrick said, well, you know, there is one other showmance that we haven't talked about. And I was like, oh, this would be Matt and Raven. And then it's like, no, psych, we're never talking about Matt and Raven at the showmance. That's not a thing.
Yeah, I mean, and really, I think for the first time, the Big Brother producers are understanding that nobody wants to see this. Like it's a showmance in the sense that they are like hooking up all the time.
Yeah.
But like, I don't think anybody anticipates that Matt is going to be interested in this beyond the season.
Right.
But why not present that as a storyline then? I feel like that's even more fun.
No. If I would have told you before the season, what's more likely that Big Brother is going to talk about? That a guy is in a showmance with a woman, or a guy is in a love affair with cereal? We're gonna look like, no, they're like, go do the cereal. The cereal. People care about the cereal. He wakes up in the morning, he eats the cereal. He's eating the cereal at nighttime. He's eating cereal in the afternoon. It's nonstop cereal. Go with that.
He actually reminds me a lot of Mike Dutz. There's a throwback name from my season, back when I wrote a dinosaur to the Big Brother house. But Mike Dutz used to eat piles of cold cuts. I mean, like stacks of it. He ate the house out of cold cuts. And we called him Meat Log Mike because he'd roll them up in these logs and he would eat them. And I feel like he had about a similar level of personality as Matt has, and a similar level of impact on the game. So like, it's really bringing me back. Or as Derrick would say, literally giving me flashbacks to my PTSD.
Well,
someone actually left the house for that reason.
Yeah, I posted. Boy, Derrick, easy with these transitions to the Megan package.
Where my holla at?
Wow, that does literally bring back my PTSD. It really does.
Derrick, no,
shade from the producers putting that in.
Derrick, I don't know if he went off script or that was an Easter egg.
Also, when Derrick first enters the house, and like Matt and Whistlenut in particular, they're like so happy to see him, as if they've ever seen this person before in their entire life.
Yeah,
Derrick's here. They must have watched this season in sequester, I guess.
It was the season that they saw. They give them season 16. I don't know why.
Yeah, because they wanted it to play out that way with Paul.
Yeah.
Now, Taran, there was a lot of good screen caps out there of Paul's reaction to Derrick coming into the house. Paul did not seem thrilled that even though like the possibility that Derrick came in with a bag, that was going to be a thing.
Well, yeah, I mean, like we talked this morning about how Paul has a dictatorship-like control over the house in a very similar way that Derrick did. The fact that Derrick can come in here and essentially act as a deprogrammer and get these people out of Paul's cult. I mean, Derrick, I'm sure Derrick is capable of completely dismantling any control that Paul has here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if Derrick came into the house, with all due respect to Paul would be on the block tomorrow.
Yeah. I mean, like we saw this play out in Big Brother Canada when Dan comes into the house and ultimately, to some might say changed the outcome of that season because he really dismantled the control that Emmett had there. And if I was Paul, I would be shaking in my boots. I would be like, don't even think about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it was a complete and utter panic. I mean, literally his voice is quivering when he said it. I've never seen him more shook up in the game. It was just like the megaphone times 40. But the thing that I actually kind of liked about it is that if you really look back, you see this out of Andy, you see this out of Derrick, you see this out of the great players. They're scared shitless when anything can derail their plans. Don't talk about the block. Don't talk about anybody else. Stick to the script. So Paul was just, I mean, he was so flustered. It was unbelievable.
Yeah, he was not thrilled about what was going on. All right. Well, I guess we need to talk about the top story at this hour. And again, I felt like that this was another odd transition to go from one thing to the next. I'll let Derrick set this up.
Well, we all know Jessica's gone. And one of her traits was she was good at spelling, right?
Oh my God.
Although she didn't always have the best vocabulary. From what I understand, she didn't know the difference between Heisman and another word.
Okay, so Taran, at this point, do you have any idea where this is going?
No, I thought they were going to show the fight that they had over spelling.
Right.
And then he's like, her vocabulary. I was like, the halting hex? Like, where is he going with this? It was such a buildup.
I also like how he acts as if, like, this is coming from him personally. Like, he's been, like, waxing poetic about this all summer. You know, I've been chewing it over, and I've been thinking, like, what are you talking about?
As we all know.
Yeah.
I've been watching 24/7.
Even stranger is then they air the clip, and forget the fact she doesn't know the words apart. She wasn't using Heisman correctly either.
Hold on. Slow, Eric. We're gonna make
Sorry. I'm blasting right through everything.
Yeah, don't just. The last thing you want to do with this is just bust right through it. We gotta really.
There will be blood.
Careful. Okay. So we see it. Everybody's in the backyard, and we hear Jessica talk about what's going to happen when she gets the chance to meet Jen.
Julie's going to have to give me the Heisman when I get on the stage because I'm going to be so happy to see her that I'm just going to hug her.
The Hyman?
The Hyman.
The Heisman?
Hyman.
Does someone want to take a stab at what she was even trying to express? Forget the word confusion. What was the first point she was making?
Yeah. I believe what she's going for is that Julie Chen was going to have to give her the stiff arm. Like, hey, get away from me. Don't come near me. I'm giving
that
you.
Actually makes sense. I thought she was like using it as like someone's gonna give me the Oscar because I'm gonna have such a knockout performance.
No, it wasn't.
That actually makes a lot more sense now.
I'm gonna get a stiff arm from you.
I take it all back. In that case, it made complete sense.
Yeah. I think what she was trying to say was the Heimlich, but she ends up saying
the Heimlich.
Yeah.
Why? She's choking, and Julie Chen is gonna have to come up.
With excitement. Yeah. She inhales her cereal and starts choking to death because she's so excited.
Yeah. So yeah, if she ends up choking, that could be a problem. And so there's some confusion here. And it's not just confusion of the wrong word. It's in that Jessica is not aware of this part of a person's anatomy. And Cody was really on point with his explanation. when she's asking Cody some questions, and Cody has some answers.
I have a part of my body that's called the hymen.
Well, you may not anymore.
Classic Cody.
From firsthand experience, I'm pretty sure I'm right on this one.
Yeah, I can vouch. Yeah. Trust me.
Also, did you get the sense also from Cody that I feel like he couldn't, he like knew the basic gist, but I don't feel like he could produce a definition either. That's why he's hedging. Oh, go talk to Mark. Go talk to Elena. I don't think he quite had the words for it himself. He just knew she didn't have it.
Okay, he's like,
Well, I mean, this is a classic. He's trying to be helpful. Wouldn't you do this to any of your girlfriends? Like, oh, you don't understand this very embarrassing word. Go talk to all your friends about it and ask them. That seems like the polite thing to do, right?
Well, she's gonna phone a friend.
We actually had a situation like this on my season with the vas deferens and the fallopian tube. No, never happened.
So we bring in Mark to the situation. Mark, do you know what a hymen is?
Do you know what a hymen is?
Hymen, yeah, beer.
Beer.
Who knew there were so many words that you could mistake this like HY combination with?
He's like, yeah, that's what I threw in Josh's face, my hymen.
It's in a green bottle. A hymen. All right. Well, let's keep going around.
Is there hymen light then also? Yeah.
Let's go around the horn. Certainly, maybe Kevin could be the person. Maybe Kevin knows what that is. Kevin?
Can someone just say it? What is it, Kevin? Please.
Heimlich.
No.
See, Kevin knows. Kevin knows best.
He knows. He knows. Wasn't that the abbreviation for that? I'm like Elena. Wasn't that the abbreviation for that show with Ted Mosby? Wasn't that that what they call it, Hyman?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have a part of my body that's called hymen.
Well, you may not anymore.
All right. Well, boy.
Are we?
This is the first time you've ever been rendered completely
Hymen.
speechless on the podcast.
I just don't know where else to go from here.
Honestly, I thought that was a season highlight.
Yeah.
You know, it's like when you guys first had me on, I thought to myself, oh man, you know, we're gonna have a episode where there's no gameplay to talk about, no strategy to talk about. But then I realized that's every episode. So this is actually as good as it gets for us to analyze.
Yeah. No, this is a high point for the season. Well,
Or a high midpoint of the season.
a high midpoint for the season. All right. Now, in addition to this, that may not have been the raciest moment in the night on Big Brother, because I mean that was just kind of anatomical. There was another package, no pun intended, which really did get a bit graphic. Now, Taran, to my knowledge, that Ramsey's sex life was never explored on Big Brother 19, correct? In the entire time that he was on the show.
Oh yeah. I mean, I don't think Ramses was on Big Brother 19.
But yeah, I mean, Derrick brought up Ramses, and like, did Ramses have a crush? It's like, what is Derrick talking about here?
Yeah, where's Derrick getting all of this top secret information from? Maybe he's using the undercover edge to find out.
What is he, Perez Hilton now? It's like, all right, blind item. Did you hear who Ramses had a crush on in the house?
I mean, seriously.
Yeah.
And also then, like, they show this Ramses package and Elena's thing with Mark, and it left me like thinking that they should have used so much more of these people on the show all season long. Like, I really enjoyed their DRs in their segments, and I was like, oh, you know, where were these personalities all summer long?
So it turns out that Ramses had a crush on Mark, but get this, that he liked Mark not for his physical appearance. He liked Mark for his personality. Eric, am I getting this right?
I guess he has a thing for gentle giants. Yeah.
No, but not that he doesn't like any of the giant part.
right. Just emotional side.
Like, it's like, oh, if you took Mark's brain and put it in Paul's body, what?
Yeah.
What is this?
Yeah, you don't hear that. You don't normally take like the Adonis man and shrink him down to the 5'3" troll of a fellow. That's like not normally what people's preferences are. If anything, it made me feel like you know, like I felt good that that's Ramsey's type. I was like, woo, all right, that's right. Way to be, man, shaking it up a little bit.
You can't picture a man sobbing into his beard and thinking, man, that's a turn on.
Yeah, I feel like I have a chance with Ramses now, right? I just got to take the incredible sulk and put him in my body.
And then if you put them together, that combination would be Matt, Ramsey's perfect guy.
Right. Also, why does he need to do the math? Like, why does he need, I'll take a little bit of this, a little bit of that, when the actual, like, byproduct is there?
Yeah. All right.
And also, like, the only thing stopping him was, I'm not going to do that to Raven. Not like that, like, Matt's disinterested. Not that, like, just like, you know, I respect Raven. I'm not going to go down this road.
Raven too much. Don't want to cross that line.
I mean, this made sense to me in terms of like looking at the two. Haven't you ever looked at like the color purple and just been like, you know what? It's really red and blue. Those two combined. If I ever found something, oh wow, you know what? Purple. I never would have guessed if I hadn't looked at red and blue individually.
It was right there in front of your nose the whole time.
Who knew?
So we got this package, which was Ramsey's talking about this, but then it ended in a pseudo orgy, which we got to see play
Will
out.
you now, Tim?
Oh, Ramses.
This is literally the life you want.
Dude, this is gonna be such a long summer.
It's lit.
Hyman.
It's lit. It got the lit in here.
Wow, you got a lot done in the last 15 minutes, Rob. Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rob came onto the podcast saying, sorry guys, sorry I'm late guys. I was cutting together a bunch of Hyman clips.
Not the first
Lily's
time.
gonna have to give me the Hyman when I get on the stage because I'm gonna be so happy to see her that I'm just gonna hug her.
That orgy scene is so much worse without the visuals. It really sounds like an actual orgy scene.
Yeah.
Seriously, the music, the acting, like with Derrick at the helm directing it all, like, geez, get in there now.
Derrick is
the undercover.
corner of the Ramsey's orgy scene.
That's how he knew.
Wow. So who knew?
They just need the Big Brother announcer. Like they went over the top, over the
Over
couch.
the top and under the
Oh,
couch.
yeah. Previously on Big Brother, Ramses had sex with Matt and Mark in the side room.
He's over the top.
Shane and Danielle
Derrick
over the
directing
top,
the
under the covers.
Several Hymens were
Is that the
lost.
same music cue? Does Big Brother only have one sex music cue? There was is that?
Shane and Danielle went over the top, under the covers.
And
Will you now, Tim?
no, they've got different
different.
sex
I
music.
think that may have been the America's Player music.
Will you now, Tim?
Eric's playing for America.
Oh, Ramses.
This is literally the life you want.
Dude, this is gonna be such a long summer.
Oh, Ramsey.
Telling me, Ramsey.
That it makes sense as the America's Player music. They were screwing you every week.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Hyman.
Oh,
All right. All right. We have to get ourselves together.
this is serious, guys. We're being much too lighthearted here.
All right. Then Derrick had one last fake out for everybody. Guess what? You have to see how well you can remember everything. You're going out to the HOH competition. Taran, everybody seemed to really be bringing a lot of bluster into this HOH competition. People are like, boy, the line is in the sand. Can't. This is now where it's day 61. Gotta win HOH tonight.
It's do or die. It's only 8-on-1, and man, these tides could turn any day now.
Yeah. It's all happening.
One of the things I also, not to backtrack here, that I love from the episode is that they had to express two people being friends or in an alliance as a no-man's. Like, they can't comprehend the concept that two people could just speak to each other and it's like not a showman's. But then yet Matt and Raven, they still don't get the edit for the showman's. It's just like, I guess we'll call this friendship a no-man's. And it's like, nope, just two people talking. Just no man's about it at all. Exactly.
There was a Matt and Ramsey segment, a Matt and Serial segment, and an Alex and Jason segment, and still no Matt and
Yeah.
Raven.
And you
A
don't
sharks
forget
and
about-
monkeys segment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And don't forget about Alex hiding in different places. Basically, just a repeat
how
of
have they not
the
been showing this
James.
all summer? She'd be America's favorite for weeks now if they had been showing these all summer. I mean, this is classic Big Brother here. And her dreams of coming back next season would definitely come true if we had known she was such a prankster.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Okay. Yeah. Really up her stock. So the losers in the house tonight, of course, we mentioned Raven. No Raven package along the way. Christmas in the house. She suffered a broken
Hyman.
leg. in the house this summer. No mention of Christmas really on the clip show.
No.
Yeah,
she's the first person I've ever seen show up to like the HOH like wearing her pajamas. Also, like last night, she's in like whatever shorts I can grab a hold of or whatever the case may be. Like she's gotten real comfortable there. She's just like, wake me up on day 98 and I'll see you then.
Yeah, I think her one line in the episode was that she chimed in when Paul was berating Mark and like, oh, you don't remember. And then she was like, selectively.
She's classic Christmas, like just interjecting into every single argument. She's like whoever is attacking somebody, she's like their hype man. She just like will constantly involve herself in some random way.
Yeah, she should have been like right behind Derrick the whole time when he's like, hey, remember that time that Ramsey said he had a crush on Matt? Allegedly.
Mark won't remember because he remembers so selectively, but I do.
By the way, Eric, what'd you think about Elena saying that she needed someone who was intellectually challenging? That was what she needed from a guy. I was like, good luck in this house.
Yeah, it's not a lot of options. I guess that's how she landed on Mark, right? It's not the best. I feel like, though, I will say, to Elena's credit, like I feel like she could have been funny on the show. Like she gave me these like Amanda Zuckerman vibes here and there. Like I see probably what happened in the casting process, but then it just like did not come to fruition on the show at all whatsoever.
No. Unfortunately. Yeah, I thought she was going to be good in the casting too, but she didn't bring anything to the table. And then we also, I didn't get to play this clip. This is from the Matt cereal segment.
All right, I got a question. How do you eat all that cereal and keep those abs? Because you're pissing me off. You're pissing me off. I'm serious.
Implants.
What's up with that? It was Derrick accusing Matt of having an eating disorder, Eric. Was there a subtext there?
I think, yeah, his investigation, a couple of weeks ago, all those Big Brother house guests were searching for the Unabomber, so it's like maybe it's all part of the investigation and this is what he's unearthed. I also feel like, and this is like I know very nitpicky and nerdy of me, but I feel like Taran can appreciate this. I don't like the fact that Derrick was calling out things about actual relationships in the house, like, hey, Alex and Jason, you guys are real close, big and little. It's like, maybe people don't realize how close they are. Like, I feel like it's blowing up their spot entirely. Like, I feel like that was a misfire on his behalf.
Yeah, I think, to anybody else, I'd be like up in arms. But when Alex is like immediately like, yeah, he's my ride or die. It's like, all right, well, if you're just going to come out with that, then sure.
Yeah.
Just going back to Matt and the cereal thing. I mean, Eric, does Matt actually have like a cereal addiction? Like, does he need to be like on an MTV True Life and not Big Brother? Is that how they found him, where they were going to go like the MTV True Life, I eat 10 bowls of cereal a day? Because it seemed like he actually has a problem where he has to wake up in the middle of the night and eat cereal.
And hide it from everyone.
The origin story of why Alex Kidwell is in love with him, because it's just like he comes in the middle of the night, feeds him the bowl of cereal, watches your kids. The whole thing is a disaster. And also, how is the announcer not? Well, now that we've had this segment, you can expect horrible, the cereal dater Matt, killer Matt. It's going to be coming in every narration from now on in.
I just love the image of like somebody who has an eating disorder, like sitting in the middle of the night, like chugging down some like chocolate ice cream or something. But instead of ice cream, he's literally just like putting cereal down his throat.
I see it like on the feeds at 3 a.m. He's like having a conversation with Count Chocula and Cap'n Crunch. It's like, guys, what are we gonna do next week? It's time to backdoor Tony the Tiger.
And I like his conversation with Mark when he's just like, oh man, you can't try this one. You'll never be able to stop.
And you won't be able to stop it.
Mark is like, yeah, I guess I shouldn't even start. I don't know.
I mean,
there's like, oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was gonna say, that Matt, I mean, he's in this sort of like artificial construct where it's like, okay, I have to share this food with other people, and he's still eating 10 bowls of cereal a day. How many is he eating on the outside, Eric?
Yeah, I mean, I would have thought that was like a fabrication if we weren't seeing it with our own eyes. The 10 bowl count. What is that? It's got to be legitimately probably on the verge of what, about 7,000 calories, something in the day. Probably like 500 grams of sugar. He's literally the first player to become a type 1 diabetic in the house.
Well, he said he can't even keep cereal at home. Like, he doesn't allow himself to.
It actually like also makes me think of like they always have those hide the veto competitions, and that's like one of the first places everyone goes is to like the sleeve of the cereal box. And then you see Matt, he's competing, he cares so little about winning, he just goes inside, opens up the box to get his snack, finds the veto, sits down, still eats a bowl before coming out and producing the veto.
I made this joke a while ago, but I feel like it's even more relevant now. But I really feel like those white spots on Matt's beard, like they very well could be milk stains from eating all that cereal. I really feel like this is possible.
Or just like sugar from the box.
Just dyed his beard.
Yeah.
I also feel like if Matt won a prize from the bottom of the cereal box, like that would be his ultimate Big Brother prize.
Yeah,
Man has never once been going. It's like, if I make it through 25 of these boxes this summer, I'm bound to win something. Like, that's the competitive spirit he's been lacking, the fire he's been missing.
Eric, was he being literal when he said he's eaten 600 boxes of cereal in the summer?
I honestly think so.
Like, I thought he was joking.
He probably projected out about 10 bowls a day over 60 days, right? This is probably the approximation.
Yeah.
Real quick, I want to touch on, we had the reset of Josh being crazy with Cody, and then the whole reset of the food fight with Mark. But Eric, I'd just love to have you weigh in as somebody who has probably been called every name in the book. What do you think about Josh as an insult comic?
You bought a personality off of Amazon, return that, get your refund, because your personality still sucks.
You bought a personality off of Amazon and get a refund because your personality still sucks. I mean, is Amazon a place where you would go to get a bad personality? I'm trying to understand the joke.
Selectively, it is.
They're pretty good with refunds. I mean,
if you were too lazy to go to a retail outlet because you're lazy also, and you went on Amazon on Prime Day, and where you were that they didn't have the one that was good, and you had to get one from the Amazon warehouse.
I bet you didn't even get free shipping.
Yeah.
That's tighten up to delivery a little bit. It's way too wordy. I've also thought, we don't like the scripted DRs, but I think maybe a script writer just to come up with some original insults for Josh might actually be a huge benefit.
Well, I don't know. Based on some of the transitions tonight, I'm not sure necessarily need the Big Brother joke writers on this.
What also struck me about the re-airing of the pool is like Mark's reaction, as if like someone literally point blank shot his puppy in the head. No! He's so furious.
You double hit!
I've never seen someone with such an overblown reaction to nothing. I mean, seriously, and the thing is, right? I mean, I know you guys mentioned this like on the live feed updates back at the time, but this is such horrific gameplay that you're going to make an enemy in the house over the fact. Yeah, horrific pool gameplay, double tapping, and Big Brother play. I mean, you're gonna cause such an uproar over this stupid ass pool game. Like, get a grip, man.
Right.
God, could you imagine if Mark pulled a topaz in the jury and voted for the wrong person, they ended up winning, and he'd just go, Did you win, Big Brother? Did you win, Big Brother? And then he just loses his mind.
Yeah, don't do the double tap. All right. So I'd like to talk about some spoilers here and get into everything that we have learned from the live feeds. Live feeds are going to be coming back here in just a little bit. I think probably after the West Coast airing of the show, but we do have some information. So if you are going to be jumping out here, I will be back on Sunday night after the West Coast airing of Big Brother. Brendan and Rachel are going to be joining us. Another love story found in the house. Who knows? Maybe Cody and Jess are on that trajectory, Eric.
One can only hope, right? I hope that true love comes out of Big Brother 19. That's really the only takeaway that can make any of us happy at this point.
Eric, can you give us the prophecy? Once upon a time back in the summer of 2013, it was eerie that you predicted the McCranda relationship, what was going to go on. What do you see in your crystal ball for Jess and Cody?
Well, just as an aside, in preparation for this episode, I went back and listened to a few minutes of last year's recap of the recap with Matt Hoffman, and you guys, unbeknownst to you, literally predicted the Jadali arc.
Oh, no, I know. I've listened to that clip. I've listened to that clip.
Down to the tweet. Literally the exact month it would happen in, the exact vague wording that would come from it. But let's just say I have very high hopes for Jody. I'm wishing them the best. I would not go to Las Vegas and get within striking distance of James Ryan. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, don't go to Vegas. Stay away from Vegas. Okay. Good point. Good point.
Hyman.
Okay.
I feel like that would be James Ryan's final conquest. I feel like you don't want to mess with Cody.
Yes.
That was literally the final one.
Yeah.
Vito King had a good run.
Finally got Howie.
He double tapped 1 2 9. All right, you ready for spoilers?
The Office of Civil Defense has issued the following message. This is
a spoiler.
Warning.
A spoiler.
Hearing means that actual
Spoiler.
against this country has been detected, and that protective action should be taken.
Hyman.
All right. So Taran, we have had a what was it exactly? Was it a leak? Was it a sort of like when somebody has a inside source? How did we find out about the HOH?
There is a person on Reddit who is called Vegas for Sure.
No, stay away from Vegas.
No. What did we just say, Taran?
Look, things leak in Vegas, all right?
Oh, no.
Okay. So this person has been leaking information all season long. They leaked that Megan had self-evicted prior to the feeds coming on. They also let us know the results of the last time the feeds went down. They let us know like what the when Cody came back into the house and who won HOH. And they have said that there is a new HOH, and that person is none other than Interjector herself, Christmas Joy.
Selectively.
And apparently there's an update as well. Apparently Paul threw the competition to Christmas.
Yes. He threw it.
Why isn't Hanukkah getting any love here? This is yeah, I call bullshit.
All right. Eric, what's your reaction to Christmas winning HOH?
Well, as we were giving a juicy teaser to Tales from the Crypt, the HOH competition. Christmas promised us on the show, probably not coincidentally, that she's ready to, quote, shake things up. So shake things up means put up Mark and Matt, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Just like not shake them up at all and just do the exact same thing as the last 5 nominations.
Yeah, well.
Yeah.
They're going to try and put up Cody. That's the shake up.
But so Taran, who is the going to be the pawn? Have they talked about this during the week?
Well, they haven't really talked about pawns. Obviously the next people in line for being a target are Matt and Raven, so it wouldn't be too shocking if Matt and Raven went up and then they tried to backdoor Mark. And the sort of backup plan is, well, if Matt or Raven have to go, that's fine with us. But that is kind of obvious. You'd think maybe they'd want to be a little more subtle, but then
why Matt doesn't until the cereal is down to just the crumbs. Nothing bothers Matt. He doesn't. There is no sense of urgency whatsoever. Put Matt up on the block every week. He doesn't care.
Yeah, I can see them like pitching the idea, like, all right, Matt, we need you and Raven to go up on the block. He's like, wait, what? And then they just shove a bowl of cereal in his hands. He's like, oh, okay.
Just eat the cereal. Don't worry about it.
Was it like either Elena or Jess in this episode was like, they're just putting up like the pawn is just the next target. Like someone's going to have to figure this out eventually, right? Like when you quote the pawn, you just go home the next week.
Yeah.
Not really much of a pawn at all, really. That's just like a backup target.
Right.
Do you think that Paul is just talking up, I heard from everybody in Big B18, they have so much cereal in the jury house. It's just like wall-to-wall cereal. It's everywhere. It's so much cereal. You've never seen so much cereal. Victor told me it's everywhere. It's just like wall-to-wall cereal. I'm like, Paul, tell us again about the cereal.
There were rumors that there was a hot tub filled with cereal.
And then they let you have as many pots and pans as you want also.
Speaking of Victor, what's the likelihood that Sunday's temptation is just Victor comes back to help Paul in the game?
Yeah.
It's just like, Victor is a very tempting gentleman. And here he is, guys, back in business.
Yeah, Sunday night. So we will have another competition. They teased it. Eric, do you know that I get to ask Allison Grodner 3 questions a week about Big Brother via email?
I've heard that, but I can barely imagine what that exchange is like.
Would you like to hear how that exchange went this week?
I would actually like to ask her a question. Here, just you can say this is vis-a-vis a proxy, but why?
Wait, hold on. What question? What question do you want to ask, Julie Chen?
Do you know what a hymen is?
That's exactly it.
Alvin Grodner, not Julie Chen. Sorry.
That's exactly it.
Is that it?
I'll take an answer from Rich, Allison, anybody.
We really
Somebody's got to know.
Yeah. So I asked her 3 questions this week, and I often ask them, and I often don't share them because they're not a lot of there. So I asked the question number 1 this week. I said, well, why bring back Derrick for the special guest episode? What was the significance of going with Derrick? She said, Derrick is a legend of the Big Brother game, and we have a lot of house guests who are big fans of his. It's always fun to have a former house player surprise the house guests. It put things in perspective and reminds them of the end goal. So that was the reason why Derrick over anybody.
I find this interesting because they've plainly gone out of their way to not bring back the good players of Big Brother. There's been no Derrick, no Vanessa, no Amanda, no Shelly, no anybody. So I find it funny that they give a nod like, oh, he's one of the greats, which is why we brought back Jason and Davon. Like, it's just like, you can't have it both ways, Allison.
And Jose was in the running also.
Right. Jose's in the running. Right. We're going to dust him off or whatever. I mean, meanwhile, we have like poor Frankie's rolling in his grave right now.
Why?
Because he can't even get back to host a clip show.
He got on Candy Crush.
True. That was a classic. You see, man, Matt Hoffman took care of that one for me.
Yeah. Took a bullet for you that night. I asked Allison Grodner, should we expect any more big twists in the back half of the game? She said, we have the 3rd big temptation twist of the summer being unleashed on the house this Sunday. So that's some significance there, Taran.
Yeah, I mean, who knows what it is? I have to assume it's another kind of competition, but it'll probably have its own rules. It'll probably be a new thing, just like this past competition was. I myself was excited about the prospect of no extra competition. I do feel like it's contributing to the state of the house right now, but
I mean, what could be worse, Taran? What could be worse right now? You don't think that there's any chance that it could shake up the status quo?
No, I feel like these twists help the status quo. I feel like it gives them something to focus on every other day instead of like
Mark's
getting
going
bored.
home this week anyway, Taran. What's the worst that's going to happen?
I guess if it's another chance for Mark to win safety, then we've got something. We've got Mark continuing his immunity streak.
Yeah.
What do you think? To abandon your own personal pride and self-respect and just give Paul $500,000 tomorrow? If you say yes, you can all go home.
Well, I mean, it'd be so easy to tempt, like, all right, Matt, welcome to the den of temptation.
This box of cereal.
Yeah. Would you leave the game right now for this bowl of cereal? Like, I'm out.
America,
Ramsey,
please enter
like
the den of temptation.
Paul, Mark, and Matt with a side of cereal and a hymen for your game.
Well, I mean, what if it's America's vote? Please, vote for. Do you want to just let Paul win now and no more Big Brother 19, or would you like to see this play out for the rest of the season? I feel like I don't know.
Yeah. So
this could be my best chance to come back into the house. I could see like America's player having to do Paul's bidding for 3 weeks, possibly.
Yeah, that would be good. If you said you would do it, you could come back in.
Yeah, literally, they'd be like, we'll pay for your flight. We'll get the intern to get you some In-N-Out burger. You can get Django Unchained and like the movies they always give you in like Sequester are always like 5 years old. That's why I said that. So like we get some old movies to keep you busy and just come and help Paul out for a little while.
Derrick, if you would like to help out Paul, puncture the green membrane. If not,
Alice, your name is now Alice.
All right. I also asked Allison Grodner, could Cody have won the Big Brother season without a returning Paul? She said, hard to say. Cody was great at competitions, wanted to make big moves, but he had a limited social game. This past week saw him come out of his shell more and start to reveal personal details of some of the house guests and made him more likable. If he had more of that early on, I do not think he would have become such a big enemy to the house. So a little bit of an answer there. So I appreciate that.
Did she even write these herself?
No, I don't. Somebody's writing back to me.
That doesn't sound like the Allison I know. Very canned answer right there.
They're shipping these overseas. You're getting some like.
Yeah, that's
I mean, there's like a literal guarantee that Cody comes back into the house. We all know that Allison has a major hard-on for these like Franks and Jessies and Cody types or whatever. Like, honestly, if I have one course of action for like anyone who might be on next season, it's just schmooze Cody for the next 11 and a half months.
Yeah, talk him up and see what happens. All right. Taran, anything else of note from the feeds? Do we know anything else?
We really don't. I mean, I think the most we can expect from when the feeds come back is that, we have 2 pawns on the block. They're attempting to backdoor Mark, and maybe this temptation competition prevents that from happening and we get something. Or maybe, just maybe, Christmas goes crazy and wants to target like Matt and Raven or something, but it's not going to happen.
Yeah, we did see Christmas a little bit want to go rogue during the Josh HOH, Eric. Any chance of a Christmas, getting a little HOH-itis?
I fear it's total fan fiction. I mean, I love her to like go totally off script. She could target other holidays, like put St. Patrick's Day and Halloween on the block or something. But I think she's gonna just stick to the plan. But I mean, I don't know. She does feel like one of the only people who might be like have enough self-respect that she might do something. And I know that that's why it's like they give you that little hope in the episode of her saying she's going to shake things up. I mean, she couldn't possibly with a straight face be saying that targeting Mark is shaking things up, right? So she might at least like think going after Raven is a shake up. Like it maybe, I mean, I think at this point, and it's sad that it's come to this, I tweeted this last night, I never thought anything Mark would do would result in me actually shouting yes at the television. I mean, that's what it's come to though now. And I feel like any extra week we can get a Mark at this point, I mean, we need people. If you want a numerical shift or want something to happen, we need someone to be a part of this. So the longer Mark stays in, the better. So like maybe this becomes like a Vanuatu Survivor Chris, and people just ignore Mark because it's like, it's just us versus Mark. Like, let's get to the next people and he can stay around for a while. Realistically, he'll probably just go home.
Right. Hard to ignore the, giant 6'6", 300-pound guy. It's a little bit hard to miss him, but we'll see. I do think that maybe there could be an opportunity for some fireworks again if he could win the veto again. He's won a bunch of them in a row now, Taran, and I think that there could be some fireworks if it turns out that it's a replacement nominee and it's like now Matt and Raven are sitting on the block. I was like, well, hold on, we're not the pawns now. What?
I feel like there's a chance. Paul, why am I out of cereal right now? What's happening? I think there's a chance Paul might decide to take a strike at Kevin before Matt and Raven. And getting Christmas to be the one to do that would be kind of interesting. But I think it would really just result in a lot of people yelling at Christmas.
Okay. All right. Eric, anything else you want to mention?
Yes. I have something to plug, actually. You always say I have something to plug. I have a plug.
Yes. Okay. What would you like to plug? Careful.
Yeah, it's www.hyman.com. No. Seriously, no. I have there was Spuds McKenzie, there was Air Bud. I have the next big dog. I've been working with him recently, and I could put him. He's here sleeping on the floor. I'm gonna grab him. It's Baby Dino the dog on Instagram. Hold on, here we go. I just scared the ever-loving shit out of him because he was sleeping. All right? This is the guy right here that I want everyone to follow. He's been following Alex a lot this season because she's been giving her hot dogs, but she also had the cat ears. So it's a bit of a love-hate relationship. So if I could get 8 more followers for Baby Dino the dog on Instagram.
What is this? What are you doing with this dog?
I literally kidnapped it just for the purpose of having something to plug. You always get on me having nothing to plug. I don't have.
This is real. This is a real dog.
No, it's stuffed. Can't you? Yes, it's a real dog. He's a Big Brother fan.
Was Raven his favorite because she barked so much?
Yeah, exactly. It's one of the dogs right here.
Let me get Alex Kidwell from downstairs.
Yeah, exactly. I heard Jessica had, dogs running around her apartment on last night's podcast, so I just wanted to fit in with the cool kids,
That dog looks as excited as everybody watching Big Brother 19 for the entire season.
Well, I made him watch the episode with me.
His eyes have glazed over.
He was literally just sleeping scared the ever-loving daylights out of him by picking him up.
He's the 1,000-yard stare. It's like, no.
No.
He's also looking at his own reflection. I don't think he's grasping the concept. You're on air, buddy. Come on.
Okay. Well, so Eric Stein, in his return to the RHAP live online show, has brought pets to pander to the audience. Although, mistake in the Big Brother live show to bring a dog and not a cat, Eric.
Yes, it's very true. I mean, that was one step away from me, choosing a side on Big Brother OTT. The bad move. I was going so well up until the finish line here.
All right. Eric, what is the hashtag tonight?
Hyman.
That's it, boys.
I mean, it might lead us to some other discussions, which we may or may not want to drive the listeners to. So I'm willing to entertain a fallback option.
Well, now, what is that? Heisman?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Hyman Heisman. The Hyman Award.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Taran, how you doing? You okay?
I'm great.
Okay. All right.
I managed to survive.
Are you going to make it to Leanna Saturday tomorrow?
I don't know. I don't know who's worse off, me or her, after getting her tonsils taken out.
Okay. Well, because it could be worse.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. There you go. All right. So great job. Follow Armstrong Taran on Twitter and Eric Stein tweets.
No, not me. Baby Dino the dog on Instagram.
Wait, is this a real thing? Baby Dino the dog on Instagram?
Yes, I'm going to become his agent. He's into modeling. You just didn't see it right now because he was sleeping.
You're going to be the James Ryan of pets?
Yeah, exactly. You just you always ask me what I'm doing with my life now. Maybe I'm a pet agent.
Baby Dino the dog. This is him. 113 followers.
He went surfing.
Boy, Baby Dino the dog is prolific on Instagram.
Yeah, you see? Maybe that should be the hashtag. Finally, I get something out of my 40 appearances on this podcast.
Yeah, Baby Dino the dog.
I get 10% of everything Baby Dino the dog makes.
Yeah, pretending I know how to drive. LOL. That's Baby Dino the dog.
I did not write that.
As his agent, you should get him on Big Brother because we all know that Big Brother gets you a lot of Instagram followers.
Wait, this is a serious question, though. Let's imagine a dog was in the Big Brother house. Do you think they could win the game?
No,
Obviously,
but they'd be America's player. They'd win America's player at the end.
Yeah, they'd last a while. They could do well at some of the physical competitions. What if they were allowed to vote? They put their paw on a picture. They'd obviously be likable. I feel like they could win a bitter jury, possibly.
Yeah, I do think if you could not take the dog to the final two. You would lose to the dog in the final two to the jury because the jury would be very into putting you on the block, or the dog would be very into. The dog would want to go for a walk around the block.
Next week on Alison Gronder's 3 questions, she'll entertain the option of having a dog
in the house. That would be good.
Yeah.
Yes, Taran.
Well, the dog enters the house, and then people are up in arms like this can't be according to the rules. And then Chrissy looks up from the rule book and says, there's nothing in here that says a dog can't play Big Brother.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So why not?
Yeah.
Why not?
I'm going to implement it.
Behind the back.
Dino the dog. And please enter the den of temptation.
I'm going to implement a strategy of allergies this week. Classic warfare in the Big Brother house.
Okay. All right. Well, great stuff. Very fun night tonight on the recap of the recap. I think we made something out of nothing here. We thank you, Eric Stein. I will be live with Brenchel Sunday night. Taran's got the updates on Rob has a podcast Facebook page, 12 noon, 9 a.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific.
Yes, and also make sure you check out the Taran show. Hopefully, we will get Eric on at some point.
I have some tales to tell.
Oh man!
I mean, Dino the dog sounds more interesting if you ask me.
Yeah.
It's true. It's probably a better get.
I'll have him by my side if need be. I'm on my way to call Matt Hoffman right now. I don't care if international rates apply and roaming fees. I'm gonna give this guy the what for putting me in this situation.
How dare you, sir?
You have to. All right. Have a great night, everybody. Thanks for making your way to the end of this one. Take care. Have a good one. Bye.